Good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 78. I'm Ron.
I'm Shane.
I'm Walker.
And we're here to talk about slot car racing as we always do. And maybe something else. We always kind of get off on a tangent sometimes. So let's get started. Again, welcome to Between the Lanes. Find us on YouTube. The channel is Slot Racer. And now we have 78 episodes up there. Some how-to videos along with some special episodes throughout the past year and a half. Find us on Facebook. Between the Lanes is the page on Facebook. And race results from last weekend and even the weekend before, because we got a catching up to do on at least one. The winning report. The AWRA, the American Womp Racing Association, was at Turn and Burn in Mocksville, North Carolina. I didn't see either one of you two there. What was up with that?
Mad fast.
Mad fast.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So in the Legends class, Charles Eldridge was your winner. Marty is it Friedel or Friedel?
Friedel, I believe.
Friedel was second, and Mike Hamby was third. Is that Mike Hamby?
Mm-hmm.
Is he related to Danny?
Yes.
Okay.
He's his dad.
This is Mike's dad. Or
Danny's dad.
Danny's
Yes.
dad. I got it now.
He's his own dad.
And then in the stock car class, Charles was the winner again. He doubled up. Stu Martyr was second, and Jason Lambert was third. In the juniors race, Bryce was the winner, Hannah was second, and Tim was third. Yankee USRA Wing Car Series was at Bristol 1010 Raceway last weekend. Amateur Box Stock 12. Colvin Martin was your winner. Eric Lindsley was second, and Greg Wilkinson was third. Pro Wire 12. Keith Keeler was the winner. John Foose second. Eric Lindsley third. C12, Larry Gonley was your winner. Rick Gage second, and Dan Keeler in third. And then Group 27, Keith Keeler was the winner, Rick Gage second, and John Foose in third. In Ohio Retro Series was at Washington, PA Slot Car Club in Washington, Pennsylvania. Can-Am, I don't have any pictures of the podiums. Can-Am, Ricky Bernardo Jr. was your winner. Steve Kep second. Steve Plosnick was third. In F1, Steve Plosnick was the winner. Steve Kep was second. And Dan Krivacek was third. In stock car, Steve Kep was the winner. Steve Plosnick second. And Greg Mayer was third. The Ohio Oval Series was at HMS in Bellevue, Ohio. And in the IndyCar class, Cap Henry was your winner. Keith Nelson II was second. And Denny Murray was third. And then in stock car, Jim Pace Jr. was the winner. Denny Murray was second, and Grant Sams was third. And then in dirt late model, Kirby McLennan was your winner. Jim Pace in second, and Dennis Murray third. Central Illinois Slot Series was at Whiskers in Gladstone, Illinois. And in the hard body class, because they run hard body Mid-America rules, hard body FCR, they kind of separate them, but then there's still an overall finish. So in the Mid-America portion, the winner was Kurt Vincent with Dave Fugate second and PJ Baltz in third. In the FCR side of the hard body class, Ken Williams was your winner, Toby Kendig second, Dave Guyman was third. They were the overall top three of all the hard body cars. And these guys all finished on the same lap at the end of the race. They all had like 147 laps. So that was a pretty exciting race. We got another exciting race coming up later too. And then they ran Can-Am class, and Brian Mosher was your winner. Toby Kinnick second, and Brian Rosenberg was third. 4.5-inch stock car, Kurt Vincent was the winner. Ken Williams second, and Brian Wallig was third. And the final class was the GTP class. Kurt Vincent pulled off a hat trick by winning that, and Toby Kindig was second, and Dave Fugate was third. Retro East was at Speed Zone. No podium pictures. Matt Bruce was the winner in the GTC Coupe class. Keith Libby second. Jerry Herbert Jr. third. Oh, I don't know why I clicked that. I guess I was thinking. I'm all messed up.
Good.
And then in Can-Am, Keith Libby was the winner. Ed Saul second. Jerry Herbert Jr. third. B&E Crosstown Challenge Series was ran last weekend at Chicagoland Raceway. In the hobby stock class, Brian Meharry was your winner. Rick Stagan second, and Gary Gasport was third. Super stock, Rick Stagan was your winner. Jim Kreider second, Neil Eisler third. And then they ran pony stock on the King track, and Neil Eisler was your winner. Brian Meharry second. Rick Stagan was third. Hobby stock and super stock was ran on the flat track there. The Checkpoint Cup race at Buena Park was 2 weeks ago, but we only had some of the results for last week's show, so we will recap. And the Retro Pro class was won by Duran Trujillo. Alex was second. Jim Lange was third. And Can-Am, Marco was the winner. Alex second, and Duran in third. Coops, Duran was the winner. Brian Warmack second. Bill V was third. F1 on the flat track, Duran was the winner. Dale Yamashita second. Bill Conroy third. F1 on the King track, Sam Rackham was the winner. Mill Conroy second, and Dale Yamashita was third. And last weekend they had I'm going to say this was kind of like the first official warm-up race for ISRA at the track in Colby, England. And they ran production 24th class, and they had a team race, and then they had a sprint race. In the team race, you can see they had 31 teams, so that was 62 drivers. I think it was full up as far as pre-entries. James Cleve and Gavin Wills was the first place team with 612 laps. Recheck and Horkey was second with 611. And Richard Mack and I can't think of Mr. Stimmons' first name off the top of my head, but we've had him on the show before in results. They were a third-place team with 610 laps. That was a pretty close race because after that, fourth place went to 597 on the laps. So Chris Radish was there with Tim Hould, and they finished in 23rd. I thought there was more Americans going to this race, but maybe it's the next one they're going to have. So then they had the individual, sprint race, and Porky was the winner. James Cleve was second, and Recheck was third. And it was been a very controversial topic on Facebook. Since they posted the pictures of the finish, and James Cleve is in the pink car and Horkey is in the yellow car. And from this angle, I would say that the pink car is ahead. They both finished on the same lap, and they finished in the same section. Okay, so here's another angle of photo of it. I think you can see that the pink car is clearly in front. And your final angle is that. I think the pink car is closer. But ISRA has a rule.
They need to work on their braid.
A brand new track. So ISRA has this rule that says, we'll just skip down to the final line there. Because let's start with the Liggins. They ran multiple mains at the race last weekend. So what that finish was of we'll call it the A main, and there was no move ups to make the A main. Like they didn't run semis or qualifying heats or any of that stuff. They qualified everybody and split them into mains based on their time. So Stage 4, final driven 8 times 5 minute heats. The best 8 drivers by lap total from stage 3 will move into the final starting lanes in stage 2 heats. Well, they didn't run it that way. Okay, so they claimed that Horkey won the race because they were tied for laps in sections. And when there's a tie like that, they go back to the previous competition, which in this race, they qualified and they raced. So the previous competition was qualifying. But when you read the rules, it says move up. In case of a matching lap and segment total, it is always decided by the better result in the previous stage of the race, going back until the tie is resolved. So when you read the rules, the ISRA rules, and when it comes to ties and how they're broken, it refers to move-ups, not the actual race per se. Like I understand their rule as if, let's say we were running semis, okay, and let's say that Walker was in one semi and Shane was in the other semi, and you both tied for laps in sections. They don't mark the track with stickers like we normally do at our races here. In case there is a tie between 2 different races, you'll still know who is further ahead in that segment, even though the cars was raced before and no longer on the track. You guys understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
But if you don't mark the track, and Walker's in the B semi and Shane's in the C semi, and the C semi runs first, and they don't mark the track, and they remove Shane's car, and then they run the B race, and then Shane and Walker both have the same laps in the same section. Because you didn't mark the track, you don't know who was actually ahead in the section. So it's a tie, and the way they break the tie is they go back to the previous competition, and whoever ran the most laps or maybe went the fastest in qualifying in the previous competition would get that tiebreaker based on that. Okay, so in this race is a little different. You didn't have move-ups. You had a race where 2 cars finished in the same segment, same section. One was clearly ahead in the section, and that car should have been, in my years of experience, that car was clearly in front of the other car, even though they were same lap, same section.
Well, go back to
declared the winner. But they claimed that was a tie. Now, if the 2 cars had stopped side by side, that's a tie.
Yeah.
If they finish like this, that is not a tie.
Go back to the previous picture, the close-up one.
There you go.
That one. Is that car's over that seam? Is there not a section at that seam?
Well, we don't know because I don't know how that track is marked. And I asked.
That was going to be my question: is how big is their sections?
Well, I know. Because like we've talked on the show in the past about tracks being sectioned by radiuses.
Right.
Now there was a picture that I kind of forgot until right now to go find. But the picture was taken. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on here. I do have the picture. Okay.
Okay.
So if the track is marked by radius, okay, we all know the finish and start line is on the straightaway somewhere. Okay. Now, in this case, if you can see my cursor, straightaway you go from, if you're standing on straightaway, you go from your right to your left, down into over here to a turn. Okay, like I'm not going to say it's a 180, but there's a turn that leads to going over top of the bridge here, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go down here, you're on red lane. You are farther in this turn, going around the turn. You have a farther distance to go. When you come behind these gentlemen, there's a 180 that goes back over to the other bridge. Red would have the advantage. Orange would be at the disadvantage. Then you come to the downhill, we'll call it a donut. Red is on the complete outside. Orange is in the middle. So red has the farthest way to go to get to this point than orange does.
Mm-hmm.
So if the track was marked in radiuses, then red would be the leading car if this was marked in radiuses because that's the way they do it. they take into effect who has. Now, if it finished over here on this other part of the track, it might be a little different. But where this finished and where the straightaway is, the car on red definitely had the farthest way to go around to get to that point over orange.
Right. That was going to be my other thing: is how big are their sections and what's the lap length?
Right.
It looks like the yellow on the wall marked from the other.
Well, there's yellow here, and there's like kind of a blue here or something here.
That might be where the seam is.
I feel like right where the car is. Yeah, that's the seam. It looks like the yellow just got pulled off right there or something. That looks like glue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Old glue or something.
There's you can't really see any visible markings on any of the pictures I've seen of how the track is sectioned. They say there's 100 sections on the track.
Right.
So maybe the pieces of tape.
That's how ours is. There's 100 sections.
Okay, because we got a mark here on the straightaway too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then let's see. Yeah, you can't see any markings.
Actually, go back to the picture before. See those little black marks where the yellow car is?
You're right here?
Yeah, that might be it too.
Okay.
Because I saw those on the straightaway. If you go back to the first picture, you can see them right there. You can see them.
You have a very good eye, young man. Well, you got marks here, and then you got marks here too. So
yeah, so it looks like it's like 1.5 to 2 foot section length.
So if we go back to this.
So he just got to that section. The pink car is over that section.
Past that section, correct.
And and by more than half a car length.
Right.
And the yellow car's on it. So
right.
How is the yellow car ahead?
So basically, we're just talking about this. And the outcome was that they gave the win to Corky based on the tie-breaking wording of cars in the same section, same laps, the tiebreakers of previous competition. Even though that's the rule is written wrong or incorrect, because I don't care if your section's a foot long or 10 foot long. If both cars are in that section, whoever's ahead in that section is the car that's further ahead. I mean, that's the way we've always scored races. So hopefully ISRA will look into that and maybe update their, because if this was like, say, the final at the World Championship,
that'd be a lot of cussing.
And I was driving that pink car, there ain't no way you're telling me I lost that race.
Mm-mm. I didn't lose.
Right.
I'll get thrown out before I give up that race.
Right. And like you pointed out, and I never noticed it before, the little black marks here. If those are actually the section marks, yeah. Like you said, that car's a half a car length ahead. This one's just barely over it.
Yeah.
And that's another question too. Because I've seen it done different ways over the years. Technically, this car would be scored in the section behind this line because he didn't fully cross it.
Mm-hmm.
But then some places say, well, he did cross the line, he's in the next section. So that's another controversy for another day.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, the drivers, Mr. Cleve, I guess, took it fairly well from what I read. But then when people said he should have won or should have been declared the winner, he kind of liked all those too. But it was a warm-up race. They had a good time. They had fun. But ISRA needs to look into the way the rule is written and make it more clear and clarify it more for the future.
Yeah, if it meant a lot more, then that definitely would have been.
Yep. And see, the thing is, with like the World Championship, it's not so, the win's a big, huge thing. But you've got your points, which affects your driver's ranking, your driving ranking for next year and years beyond that. So, yeah. Okay, so we talked about the race at Pilsen last week, and we were short some race results on that. And the one-motor open race, Brad Freisner was the winner in that, with Andy Wasserman second and Peter Kirchhoff in third. Peter Kirchhoff also won Group 27, and Yuli won the Group 12 race. And I didn't have a sheet for the Group 12 race to tell you who was second and third. So then the Mad Fast Series was at the Slot Car Track Concord, Walker's home raceway, home away from home.
Yeah.
And in the truck class, Walker was the winner. Josh Barbie was second. And Ryan Moore was third. And then in the scale NASCAR class, Josh Barbie was your winner. Father beat out son with Randy McNulty beating out Walker McNulty. I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's hear that story.
I mean, that car was sitting in the counter for like 2 months. He's like, hey, I want to race. And I give him a motor out of my box that's old, and I felt like probably wouldn't last. He puts it in the car and goes, and it's faster than mine.
Now, did you race those on the oval too?
Yeah.
Okay. So you ran those in trucks on the oval, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun.
And then the DTM class, which was ran on the MTT, right?
Mm-hmm.
James Merriman was the winner. Walker was second, and Russ Martin was third. Is Russ holding James' car?
No, James just didn't have his. Russ was running that cheated up body.
That what? Let's hear the story.
It's actually an old story from the other Mad Fast race. Whenever that body was ran, you remember that?
Well, I just remembered there was some bodies were ran that weren't on the original list or whatever, and
yeah.
Since then the list has been changed, correct?
Yeah, I think it's just any
body
that's ever been ran or something. I don't know.
Well, then he wasn't cheating.
Yeah, I know, but that was just a joke. But you took my joke seriously.
Oh. And then GTP class, our Huggy Bear, Shane Parent.
Huggy Bear, that sounds so gay.
He was the winner. Grizzly Adams.
That's better.
Shane was the winner with his throwback Ron Hirschman paint scheme.
Yeah.
Woo! Bobby Beecham was second, and then Russell Martin was third. All ran their Phoenix motors because they're all wearing their Mid-America Phoenix T-shirts. How'd it feel to win, Shane? What's the story there? Let's hear the story.
You weren't there to reckon.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, he ran into me. He ran into me.
It was just a good, clean race.
Okay.
So.
Where was you at, Walker?
Not in the top three.
I know that. What happened there, Walt?
Actually, what had happened was Walker should have had a third place finish, but his car didn't count.
Yeah, my car didn't count because the braids was all burned up and bad.
That's because you run braid the size of my fingernails.
Well, they were the same ones I ran in FNRS because I have to race on a tight budget.
Yeah, but you could have asked me, hey, let me hold a trash can. You could have dug some out of the trash.
Okay, so wait a minute. You ran the same braid.
I ran the same everything I ran in FNRS.
Except for the motor.
Except for the motor. Same everything. And tires. I had different tires on my car.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story, okay?
Story time with Ron Hirschman. Get your milk and cookies, boy and girls.
Okay, so the first race I ever ran in, okay, so like I buy my little Womp Womp car, Christmas Day, 1981. I practice, and they're going to have this enduro race on New Year's Day. Okay, so I decide after I've practiced that I'm going to race in this New Year's Day enduro race. So the way it worked out was, and we had 24 cars, so we ran heat races, and the winners of the heat races, 8 guys, then put their car into the main event, and the other 16 drivers' names went in a hat, and us 8 car owners, if you will, we pulled 2 names from the hat, and those were our teammates. Okay, so like there was no like stacked teams or there was a stacked team, but it was by luck of the draw. Okay, but so we start the race, and I believe I ran the first heat or two, and then the other guys ran my car, and then I got my car back in I don't know. I guess I ran the last probably 2 heats because I think the car owners ran 4 heats, and the other 2 guys ran 2 heats. Well, my car was like cutting out, not running right, blah 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 blah. And I had to pull out of the race because my car kind of quit running. And I couldn't really figure it out. And after the race, the guy that it's kind of like the know-it-all at the track, you know, he like fixed the cars and stuff. And he goes, the problem is you need new braid in your car. And I'm like, oh. He goes, you didn't put new braid in your car for the race? And I go, no, it's like the braid that came in it. And he's like, oh, no. You always put braid in. Always put new braid in before a race. And I adopted that philosophy at that point, and never
Haven't lost a race
after that because my braid was enough.
I didn't care.
Well,
Shane was more mad than I was.
Right.
Wasn't mad. I was disappointed.
I can't believe, Walker, that you did not put new braid in your car. Shame, shame, shame.
I didn't care.
You could have went over there to the rental car braid pile that your dad has. Half that's probably mine.
Probably.
Wow. I'm just at a loss for words.
I didn't care. At that point in the race, I was just happy to finish.
If you take those braid right now and comb them out and soak them in some braid juice till April, you could probably run them at the Nats in the class.
I probably
my
will.
lucky
I'll put them in
braid.
the freezer. They might grow.
In the freezer.
Moving on. So winner, chicken dinner. That's our race results. Next week, I will have the NorCal race results up. They sent them to me, and it's just been too busy here the last day or two. So they sent them to me to get all that line because that's like, you know, they got the amateur, expert, all those splits, and so we'll cover that next week, guys. We haven't forgot you.
Sunday.
Okay, so this weekend, the big race this weekend is a 24-hour endurance race at Mark's Model World. 8 teams, 55 or 57 drivers, 24 hours, looking to go 489 miles in 24 hours or 16,641 laps. That'll break the record. It still stands, unofficial world record that stands from 2005, because that's the last time that there's been a 24-hour race for flexi cars. So, and of course, you know, since that time, chassis have changed and motors have changed, and the track is faster than what they ran on, you know, back then. But hopefully, this may become a yearly event, and
boy, yearly.
See what happens. Well, and, you know, maybe at the minimum every 2 years that should be run. I don't know. And maybe people don't care. The Florida Slot Car Series is at P1 Raceway. The SCCRA is at Buena Park on the flat track this weekend for retro racing. The JPM Series is at Pro Slot Raceway in Hartford, Michigan. Next weekend, we got Retro East at Port Jefferson. You got the USCA Series. You got Mid-American Hard Body at Pro Slot. The Midwest Series is at Real Speed in Fort Wayne. OCC is at Mark's Model World. ORS is at Tom Thumb. The AWRA is racing. And the last weekend of this month, AWRA is racing, Gator Retro Racing Region. F2000 at Mid-America. And it's the Retro All-Star races at HMS. And I'm sure I don't have it on my schedule. I'll get it up next week. NERR probably has a race the next couple weeks somewhere. And the WRA also races the last week of February too. So we'll have more details on where next week. Breaking news. Breaking news. So you guys see this today that Mid-America came out with a steel version of the Lump chassis.
Is that going to be a giveaway today?
No, it's not.
Oh, man.
It's called the Hammer. It's spring steel. You solder it together, because they allow solder together other cars, chassis in some classes. I don't know about all the classes, but yeah, this would be probably the hot ticket for Womp Race.
Somebody tell Charles.
And maybe pretty soon there may be a 124th version for those FCR racers. So, before we go to that, well, okay, so they also posted today that Paul Pfeiffer, the owner of Alpha Products, is back at work kind of part-time. Did you see that, Shane?
Yes.
And
I didn't read the whole thing. I vaguely read it.
And I did, but I didn't retain it, and I didn't write down notes. But I know there's no motor repairs are being done. I think
just balancing, grinding, and truing.
Yes, and it's limited because Paul's not there the entire 8 hours a day.
Right.
And Alpha has been up and running except for the motor services since Paul's heart issues. So if you're going to send any motor work to Alpha, you probably want to contact them before you do, just to make sure that it'll be done and back in the usual timely, ultra-fast service that Paul has always offered. So also this week, or maybe it was last week, I don't know. I guess it was Saturday. USRA announced there would be no handout tires in any classes at this year's USRA Division II Rail Nationals at the Slot Car Track Concord. And then over the course of the last week, we've had 3 different NAT schedules floating around. Well, you're laughing, isn't
that one there should be it.
I know this is like the final.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any comments?
I say that the 4.5 stock car race will be the best one.
Okay, so the original NAT schedule, Tuesday was going to be JRL and the ISRA production race on the flat track for a few reasons. Officially, the USRA NATS did not, in the past couple of years or whatever, does not start until Wednesday. And it goes through Sunday. And Tuesday is supposed to be an open day for testing on the, we'll call it stamped steel track. So there's supposed to be no racing on the stamped steel track on Tuesday, which this schedule kind of adheres to that. But JRL and ISRA production are not official USRA championship classes at this year's NATS.
I thought production was.
Production is not even a USRA class. It's not even a USRA rule book.
I know, but they said that it will be unless that got changed.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you it's not a USRA class. And last year, well, I don't know about last year. The year before at Rogers, because Roger was the first one to run the ISRA production on the day before the NATS started. And it was not a USRA NATS class, and it wasn't last year. And until it's added and voted in to add it, it shouldn't be. But, hey, whatever. So, and JRL and 4.5, again, that's always the raceway owner's choice to pick which one of those two classes they will run for the national championship, because the schedule never really allowed for both to be run with everything else that's supposed to be run. So, because those are optional classes. Pick one. So, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, from what I know, the production race is a NATS race. The only one that's not is JRL. But, I mean, in all honesty, I still don't understand why we're racing on Tuesday. But, hey, it is what it is.
Well, like I said, in the past couple of years, Tuesday's been mainly a practice day. But JRL and Production 24th was run to allow the flat track guys run those cars in races and do their testing somewhat. That I mean, the serious flat track guys are going to be there on Sunday or Monday anyway, maybe Saturday.
Oh,
So they practice, and then they can kind of run a couple of classes just to get some races under their belt.
Yeah. Which this way it allows there to be a race on that track every day, which I guess is okay.
Right.
But
see, where this really got screwed up was many years ago when they decided to run 4.5 somewhere on a Tuesday before the Nats started.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Nats is supposed to be is the least amount of days as possible to save everybody money.
Yeah.
So
I say we run them all on Saturday and Sunday, and then we're set.
Round the clock, baby.
Yeah. Round robin everything. No track calls. You got to run and get your own car.
There you go. Yeah, that's how the 24-hour races run. No track calls. It's an enduro race.
Hopefully you don't have to run and get your own car in that one. At hour 22, you'd be tripping.
You don't have to be going and getting your car somewhere at some point. Okay, so it's not racing topic, but it is racing related. Mark Martin has been doing these podcasts, I don't know for how long. So last night something came up on my Facebook news feed, and then it was talking about like the super late model ASA car outlaw bodies of the early 80s. And somebody says, yeah, you got to listen to this Mark Martin podcast when he's got Gary Ballou on there, and they talk about the bodies and how they changed and stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's go check this out. So they talk about like in 1979. That's not a very big picture, but I mean that's what Gary Ballou's car looked. Gary Ballou was nicknamed Hot Shoe, and he was like the big hot dog.
That's Bobby's guy right there.
Yep. If you're from the South or Florida, everyone knows Hot Shoe Gary Ballou. Okay.
Yep.
He
I can
dominated.
tell you a side story. Go ahead and finish your story, and I'll tell you my story.
Florida. Okay, and then so this is what the cars look like in '79, and the big thing was New Smyrna. But during the Speed Weeks of Daytona, all the top short track racers in America would flock to New Smyrna to run a 7-night series every weeknight and be the World Series Asphalt World Champion. And Ballou was definitely the guy to beat there. But you had all these other guys coming in. Dick Trickle used to go there, and Mike Eddy, and Joe Shear, and all the top dogs in ASA and Artco, and Junior Hanley go down from Canada. And so then Mark Martin comes down in '79 for the first time, and that's what the cars look like. Okay, I mean that was state of the art stock car, short track stock car, late model, super late model, 1979. So then in 1981ish or whatever, they come down, and Gary Ballou had learned about aero, and they applied it to their cars. And Mark Martin comes down with his car, and that's there. And then he talks in the podcast about how the next night, they raced the first night and couldn't even run with Gary Ballou. So they went back and chopped the back half of the car off and put big wings and everything on it. But then the car wouldn't bounce. So the next night they worked on the front end of the car to get it balanced, and then Mark got competitive. But, another thing is, Gary's known for the Lincoln or the Batmobile that they took to Syracuse to a dirt race. They were 2 seconds faster than the field. And he talks about in practice how Gary Weld, who built the car, told him, go out there and just run slow. And Gary Blue's like, I can't run slow because I can't get a rhythm. So he goes out there and runs a few laps at full speed, and they come over and tell him to park the car, and you can't practice it until you qualify. You're 2 seconds faster than everybody. So the podcast. You remember Richard Akert, the guy who came to Tri-State and raced GTP from Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Richard?
Yeah, went out to dinner with us.
Yeah. So Richard actually worked on this car at Syracuse. He was one of the crew guys, and Gary Ballou flew them in. And they all arrived by helicopter at the track and all this stuff. But, if anybody really knows the story about Gary Blue got in trouble, went to prison for a long time for smuggling, importing drugs, and that killed his racing career. But anyway, the thing about the podcast is you've got two racers, Mark Martin and Gary Blue, and they're talking about the same stuff we talk about at the races and how we go over and look at what the other guy's doing and go back and you do that to your car and try it. But then, okay, if it's in the gray of the rules, you do it a little bit more than he's doing it. And you just keep doing that until they finally make a rule and say, you guys can't do this no more. You have to do your car, you have to do whatever like this. So it's like a 15-minute podcast. If you like listening to good racing stories and two good racers talking about the days and how they had the utmost respect for each other. Gary Blue said, Mark Martin never put a wheel mark on my car and I never put a wheel mark on his car because they respected each other. And they talk about Rusty Wallace and like how Rusty Wallace was running second to Gary Blue at a race one night. And after the race, Rusty Wallace says, we got to fix your car because I could have took you out several times because you were in my way, but I knew what the outcome of that would be if I took you out. So we need to fix your car. So Rusty told him how to fix his car by moving some shocks and stuff around and made Gary's car better, but then it was a better race because Rusty didn't want to knock him out of the way. So it's kind of the respect thing. So, and it goes back to like, I remember all them guys. I remember going to races and all them guys being there, and I mean they were just racers. So Shane is going to tell us about his Gary Blue story, I guess.
It's Bobby's. Because Bobby, he raced down at New Smyrna, and he told me that his date nights with his wife would consist of them. I guess around Gary's house there was like a block wall. She couldn't really see in. But he would pull up to it, turn the car off, roll down the windows, and just listen to him tune the engine.
Right.
That was his date night.
Well, Gary Blue talks about when he was a kid, 7 years old, sneaking in the racetrack, his local racetrack. But
he has a book out.
I know, yeah. But he would sit at home and listen to the cars, and he could tell by the sound of the motor whose car that was. So, I mean, Gary Blue is like a natural. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And I haven't read his book. I need to buy that book because I know it's probably very –
Bobby may have it because I know Bobby bought it. I know he's been reading it.
So, but yeah, the podcast. I mean, if you want to listen to some real racers talk about what it takes to win, as far as putting the effort into it and everything else, kind of like what we try and instill to our listeners. It's just interesting. So,
if you want to learn how to cheat, just ask Ron.
Yeah, well, ask Smokey Unit. So, well, I mean, there's cheating and there's not cheating. I mean, that's a whole nother.
There's gray area.
Gray area, right.
Like in the FNRS race, there wasn't a rule, but you had to make a rule because I was in the gray area.
Yeah, that's right.
What's that about?
The offset in his stock car.
On the oval, yeah.
Oh, I didn't race that.
Yeah, there wasn't a rule against it, so I did it. And he was like, "Oh, you can't do that. You wreck people. You wreck anyways."
Yeah, when you got your right rear tire,
you're gonna wreck anyways. It doesn't matter.
You're supposed to be. You're gonna be causing problems.
If we're side by side, no matter. Yeah.
There's enough problems on that track with the cars being straight up, let alone everybody.
I know, but it wouldn't have made a difference.
Everybody getting. See, that's something USRA probably needs to address too on the.
It's in the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Is it in the rules? Okay.
I've read it.
Okay.
1/8 inch. No, I've read it. 1/8 inch.
Okay.
1/8 inch out of the body.
But we used to, we used to run our stock cars like you did, Walker, like way back when. And
I'm just going to twist the body like this so it's sideways. And then I'll just put the axle
when we used to run the Scorpion. We used to run the Scorpion cars, the JK Scorpion.
Oh, those things are amazing.
You'd move that thing all the way over.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay. And then
I did that this weekend.
and then you narrow the inside tire, the left rear, you narrow up to like 600 wide. And you could space that other tire way, way out there.
Oh, yeah. Just put your front tire on the left side, to be honest.
Those cars were just unbeatable at the time.
Those were oval cars.
Yeah.
They're still oval cars. They're awesome.
Yep.
Hit everything. It don't matter.
Yep.
If they were legal for the Nats, that's what I'd be racing.
4-inch and 4.5-inch.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Are you tired?
Just a smidge, but it's okay.
Okay.
You work today?
Well, I sat in a 4.5-hour drafting class, so.
Well, you're just sitting there with your steering wheel, right? Following?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I was doing all day, is following.
Drafting? So you guys raced, on the King Cobra last week, and I think Jane told me that you've even worked on it more and got the bumps out of red and white coming out of the bank or something.
It's a lot better.
Walker didn't.
Randy.
Dad that morning. Yeah, Dad that morning. The first one, the one that actually caused all the issues, because it's right where you lift. That one is basically gone now.
Cool.
You went underneath the track and cut the piece out and put a new one in and did a bunch of maintenance.
I mean, I didn't think it wasn't horrible, but
No.
some guys struggle with it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think it was
I
bad.
mean, if your car's too low, you're going to struggle with it. It's just what it is.
But now it's fixed.
Yep.
It's improved or whatever.
Yeah, it's improved. It's a lot better.
It went from about 20% to at least 85.
Yeah.
Okay, so how fast did you guys go in GTP qualifying?
Russell TQ'd with a 37.
Okay.
Yeah. I went a 38. Russ went a 37. In practice, I went a dang 23 on yellow, but that's a lot faster of a lane than orange.
Well, I mean, those motors are a lot faster than the Scorpions and FKs that we ran down at.
Yeah.
So I just wondered how much faster they went.
They're pretty quick.
Yeah. But I've never really done any back-to-back testing where you run this motor and put another motor in the car and wow, that motor's 0.2 faster. But it sounds like those motors. Well, I mean, I know they got to be 0.2 faster. 0.1 to 0.2 easy.
Yeah.
If you went 23, that's 2.5 faster than.
Yeah. Bobby seen it. I got proof.
But was the car legal? Did it pass tech?
No, he probably had
the same car I put in tech.
I probably had the same old tires we ran last race too.
Yeah, same braid, everything. Same axle too. Same Coford axle.
How did you clear tech?
No, it was different tires. I already said that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It was different tires, and that was the same body, same everything except for motor. Even the same spur. That spur was shot.
I think that car was shot after all that.
Oh yeah, it's a weekly car now.
A weekly car.
Yeah.
So
might be good on the flat track.
So Walker might be at the 24-hour race this week, and I don't think Shane's racing this weekend.
I'm off this week.
I'll figure it out on Friday. Whatever Dad says on Friday at about 2 in the afternoon.
That's too late.
I'll show up for the last hour.
Friday.
Did you just yawn?
I just yawned.
Y'all are killing me. I'm over here struggling, and y'all are yawning.
I didn't have a nap today.
Nap time.
I didn't nap either. I came home and started popping out masks.
There you go.
Yep. I've been busy today, work-wise and slot car-wise.
Mm-hmm. They're working on the drag strip right now. So.
Yeah, I was just getting ready. I was going to ask you about. I seen how soon do you think that'll be done?
Next week we should be running on it.
Okay.
Because they're wiring it right now. They're putting the tree up and everything, so it'll be braided, and hopefully we'll be able to make test hits on it next week.
And where is that at in the building?
In the back hall.
Oh, okay.
Remember where we were pitted?
Yeah, right behind.
They took down some of that wall.
Right, I remember, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we got a 4-wide drag strip. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Was drag racing kind of big at your old place?
Yeah, we used to have a pretty good amount of drag racers, and then Dad prematurely sold the track, so then we kind of
Your
lost
dad
all
doesn't
that.
do anything without thinking about it for at least a year.
You're gonna get the
Yeah,
drag.
well, he built the drag strip after 2.5. So
You're gonna get the drag strip done, and then you're gonna
oh,
what? You're gonna get the drag strip
um,
done, and then rebraid and resurface the oval.
yeah,
Okay.
oval's next, and then after the oval, it's Nats time, and then it's break time.
Well, I would think after
Tractor pull.
you get the oval done in a couple of weeks, then you have some break time before the Nats.
Yeah, but a couple weeks redoing a track is not realistic whenever you got him doing it. You got to think about that.
He doesn't watch the show, does he?
Oh, he does. He watches every one of them, but he knows it's true, so it don't matter.
Oh,
Me and MB, you know MB, don't you?
yeah.
Yeah, MB. Me and him keep saying it'll be because it's already been 2 Christmases. That's what we keep saying. It's been 2 Christmases. It's going to be another 2 for drag strips
But the
done.
oval is so much smaller than the King
Yeah,
Cobra. You guys got the King Cobra done pretty damn fast. I mean,
yeah, it got done in probably a month. I mean,
yeah,
that's if not less.
probably did that oval in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Got to get it ready. I'm ready to burn some laps.
Oh yeah.
Well, the only problem with the oval really is just the braid comes off or
Yeah.
comes
And the
loose.
braid, where it was before, it was in a building that was like really, really hot, so a lot of the glue didn't stick good.
Right.
And now the braid's all like nasty and oily, and
Right.
so it doesn't want to stick.
Because I mean, the surface it's on, it's pretty good. But,
Yeah, the surface is pretty nice.
I mean,
gotta
if
be
you're
rebraided.
gonna rebraid it and everything, you might as well just resurface it while you're at it.
Yeah, and he wants to resurface it and make it like a clay color, so that it looks like a dirt track. Have you ever seen a dirt track like that one?
Eldora.
Clay color.
Nah, I mean like this with a dog leg.
Eldora has a little bit of a dog leg.
Does it?
Well, it kind of rounds out around.
The door's wide open.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch dirt racing.
They're wide open at Cherokee, but they don't have a dog leg.
But see, that's something too in that podcast they talk about how if you were a dirt racer and you went asphalt racing, it made you a better asphalt racer. And he named all the examples like Tony Stewart and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or Gary Blue did it backwards. He asphalt raced and then went dirt racing, but he did really good at dirt racing because he figured out tire management.
Well, that's where like Kyle Larson came from. Jeff Gordon did that too, didn't he?
Jeff, no, not really. Jeff Gordon, he got famous on Thursday Night Thunder from IRP, which is a asphalt track.
So I know Ernie did all asphalt for the most
Right.
part.
Right.
Because he
Most
raced
of
in
your-
Concord.
Most of your asphalt drivers were asphalt drivers.
Yeah.
Because most guys stick to one or the other but don't do both.
Unless they raced before asphalt was invented.
Well, but
Except
see,
for
here's
did
the
Jimmy Johnson do tour trucks?
What?
Jimmy Johnson. He wasn't an asphalt driver, wasn't he, in the off-road trucks?
he did ASA.
Did he?
Yeah. Now, see, like Tony Stewart, for example, he actually was I think a pavement driver because he raced go-karts before anything else. So
Yeah, I think that's where Jeff Gordon started was karting.
yeah. And then
Which
after you
is
do karting, usually you go dirt racing or asphalt racing. So
Yeah. Sometimes you even start at dirt racing with the go-karts too.
right,
That's really popular down here in the South.
right. But see, when you go way, way back, like into the 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, those guys would race whatever, anything, dirt, asphalt.
Gravel, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
If they had 4 tires, they was racing on whatever it was.
Yep.
If it was a cow pasture, it was a cow pasture. You better
I
have
raced
the
on a cow
goggles on.
pasture before. Didn't have the cows, didn't have the patties, but
When I was in high school, one of my buddies, there was a cornfield behind his house, and we went out there and cut an oval in it, and we'd go out
We
there
had
they did
a-
out here.
oval race in
We
the
had a
cornfield. God, that was rough.
we had an oval behind our house in a horse pasture. for years.
And we didn't run race cars. We ran our street cars out there.
Oh, we ran go-karts back there. We ran every week. We used to get a lot of people. Then somebody came in with a DJ equipment and all this crap and was playing music real loud and got us shut down.
All right, what's the secret word?
Go ahead, Walker.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be your turn this weekend, Ron, but I'll let it slide.
Well, Walker wasn't with us last week, so it's his turn.
I got to think about something that's relevant. ASA.
ASA. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. ASA.
ASA.
What the hell was
One
serious?
letter off of Shane's nickname.
Whatever.
Huh?
AAA.
Say I'm an ass.
Oh.
I used to be. I've calmed down a lot. That's the Shane you should have got to know, Ron. You'd have liked that Shane.
That's all right. All right, guys. That's it.
Time for naps and vitamins. You got an enduro.
We'll wind up number 78 here. So, if you're going racing this weekend, good luck. Have a good time. Be safe. Be careful. Walker, I hope to see you in Canton.
Yeah.
Eat some pasta for me.
Oh, I'll eat plenty of pasta.
Send me a picture.
Put the feedback on. And I talked to I talked to Mark today, and I think we're good for a live webcast for the whole.
Live feed. Yeah, because I remember we talked about he got the Wi-Fi.
He's got the Wi-Fi. They have the camera up, and I guess they did some testing. And
Cool.
He doesn't have the view that he wants,
Right.
because he wanted to get the whole track in the
Two things.
So anyway,
A decent view and volume, because I want to count the F-bombs.
okay. So anyway, he said that
We need a mic
you
on.
definitely can see all the drivers. I said, well, if you're just sitting there watching just guys run their cars, I mean, that's going to be kind of boring. But I said, you got to get your Karstein live feed up so people can see that and follow.
Yeah. Share the link or have him put the link and I'll share it. You figure if Randy Randy, he'll go live.
Yeah, once we get there, we'll get stuff sorted out.
Yeah. I'll leave you alone. I won't bug you.
You're acting like we gonna be.
I'll watch it. It'll be like the 24. Y'all are gonna be there.
I told you it'd be a great experience for you, youngster.
I know. I'm not the one that's keeping this from
That
going.
24 hours is a great practice for the Flexipalooza.
Tell your dad to call me.
Yeah, Shane.
It will be.
Practice.
Yeah, we'll be.
Yeah, I know.
Even though the cars will be somewhat different, but I mean, still.
Yeah.
Track time.
Yep.
That's a whole lot of track time.
Yep. How many guys are on your team? It could be 3 hours, 4 hours, or maybe 5 hours for some drivers.
Oh boy.
1
That's a
hour,
haul.
1 hour long heats.
That.
Good times.
Yep.
I'll be sitting here at the comfort of my home watching it, rooting y'all on.
Yes, you will. All right, guys.
Okie dokie. Have a good night.
Have a good night. See you guys later. Thanks.